of electrical measurements, and today's topic is potentiometer. Potentiometer, right? What is potentiometer? Potentiometer is a very accurate device discovered till now to measure the voltages. What voltages? A very small voltages. Voltages in the order of the millivolt can be measured very accurately with the help of the potentiometer. This was the device which was discovered in the very earlier days, right? However, nowadays we have a electronic measuring devices which measures accurately in the terms of microvolt, right? In terms of nanovolt. But when the discovery was made that time, potentiometer, it was the best device, most accurate device. So potentiometer, it is a device to measure very small potential difference. Right? Now what exactly is a potentiometer? So potentiometer, if I do the drawing, it consists of a wire, right? Maybe a single wire just like that of the meter bridge, or maybe multiple wires. Now what is the benefit of using multiple wires? Why don't we use only 100-meter wires? So instead of using just 100 meters wires, if we use multiple such wires, I have taken 4 here. You can take 5, 8, 10, whatever you want. More the number of wires, more will be the accuracy of the potentiometer device. How? Let's see. So potentiometer, it consists of a wire. It is made up of constantan or manganese, right? It is fitted on some arrangement. It also has a scale, right? It has a scale from 0 to 100 centimeters. This is the terminal A. This is the terminal B. Terminal B, we have a switch K, which is connected to the variable resistor R. Then we have a battery. Negative terminal is connected here. Make sure this arrangement cannot be altered. Circuit must be as it is. Then the battery is connected to the terminal A. From the terminal A, right, we have a galvanometer, and then the galvanometer is connected to the jockey J. So this is what is the arrangement of the potentiometer. Now how does it work? So potentiometer, its principle is principle of the potentiometer, it works on the principle of potential drop is directly proportional to the length of wire. That is again by default, whatever potential drop occurs, that obviously depends upon the length of the wire. If the larger length of the wire is taken, potential drop will be more. If you want to understand this term, then let's say you take a battery or a small cell, right? If you connect a just smaller length of the wire, this small length of the wire, LED will glow, right? But if you take a much larger length of the wire, let's say you take a 2-meter long wire, connect a cell, and then you connect to the LED, LED will not glow. Why? Because the potential is dropped across the wire. When the small wire is there, small potential is dropped across the wire, potential is available for the LED. But when you take a larger length of the wire, for a larger length of the wire, potential dropped across the wire is so large that there is no potential left for the LED. So that is the principle of the potentiometer. Now, let us say A is the area of cross section of the wire, right? And rho B specific resistance. Right? We slide a jockey and get some voltage readings on this galvanometer. Here, instead of galvanometer, let's say we use a voltmeter. If this terminal is positive, this is negative. So when you slide a jockey, there will be some potential drop, right? If you place a jockey here exactly at the terminal A, what will be the reading of voltmeter? 0. But as you slide the jockey, there will be some potential shown here. So let us say you make a jockey stable, right? You make a jockey constant at some position on this wire, and the length of the wire may be L. So what will be the potential drop across this length of the wire? So potential dropped across this length of the wire will be V is equals to, right? Let I be the current. Switch K is closed. Okay, its working is switch K is closed. As soon as switch K is closed, battery comes into the action, and due to this battery, right, current starts flowing. So working of the potentiometer, right? As soon as the switch K is closed, resistance box is adjusted to make a constant current flow in the circuit. So as soon as the current starts flowing in the circuit, then we slide a jockey to obtain some potential difference on this voltmeter V. So applying Ohm's law, V is equals to I is the current, right? Here we have one ammeter connected. This ammeter will gives us the current in the circuit. So V is equals to I, and what will be the resistance of this wire? Rho L by A. This is the resistance of this wire. If we rearrange this equation, I rho by A, we have set up a constant current, right? We are not going to change the battery. This box is adjusted, so current will remain constant. Rho is obviously constant. The thickness of wires are not going to change. Area is not going to change. So we have V is equals to KL, where K is equals to I rho by A. K is a constant, right? This constant K, it is called as potential gradient, and this is how the K is measured. So this is the potentiometer and its working principle, right? Whenever you want to use potentiometer, you must determine K first, and this is the method to determine the K. Now let us see the application of the potentiometer. So the first application of the potentiometer is determining potential difference. What do you mean by determining potential difference using a potentiometer? So this is the same arrangement, right? Just from the terminal A, from this terminal A, arrangement remain as it is. I have taken this terminal A, right? I will write it with a blue marker. So from this terminal A, I have some resistance R1, right? Then I have a battery, and then I have a switch, and this connected to the jockey. So now, how will we measure? We want to measure the potential difference that is dropped across the R1. I want to calculate this potential difference. This potential difference may be very, very small, and that is where the potentiometer comes into action. If the potential is large enough, then there are other devices available. But if this potential is small in the terms of millivolt, 0.001 volt, then the potentiometer is helpful. How will we measure this unknown voltage V? Now in order to do so, again step 1, right, switch K is closed, resistance box is adjusted, and some constant current is made to flow in the circuit, right? There is some potential dropped E1, this is the battery E. So there is some potential dropped across the R1, right? So I will write down the steps. In the step 1, what do we do? Adjust R, right? So that potential drop across potentiometer wire is more than potential to be measured. What do we mean by this? This means this resistance box is so adjusted that whatever potential is to be measured here, right? Then the potential dropped across wire must be greater than this potential. Then and then the accurate measurements will be done, and that is very easy to adjust. So step 1 is done. Now in the step 2, right, we slide a jockey. Step 2, slide jockey so that voltmeter on jockey shows 0 reading. And the voltmeter, this voltmeter, right, in the jockey, here jockey, it has a voltmeter. So when this voltmeter, positive, negative, right? So when this voltmeter shows 0 reading, what does it mean? It means that potential dropped across the resistance is equals to potential dropped across the wire. So when the jockey shows the 0 reading, we can conclude, right? Hence, we conclude that potential dropped across wire is equal to potential dropped across R1, right? This potential drop will be equal to the length of the wire. Now let us write down the mathematical equation for this. So if we write down the mathematical equation, then this potential drop, right, this is nothing but equal to the potential dropped across the wire. So K L, you can write down, that is what the principle is. So this is the potential which is dropped across this resistance. But we still do not know the value of K. We have to do some steps to determine the value of K, right? So in step 3, we determine K. How do we determine K? Right? In order to find out the value of K, simple steps we have, that is applying Ohm's law to potentiometer. When we apply Ohm's law to the potentiometer, right, the current in the circuit is given by the EMF of the cell, right, upon the external resistance that is connected to the circuit, right, this one, this external resistance R, plus small r. Small r is what? Small r is the resistance of this potentiometer wire. Small r is the resistance of the potentiometer wire. So therefore, potential drop across wire, right, across this wire, how much potential drop will be dropped across the complete wire? So that will be equal to, potential dropped across the complete wire will be equal to current, right? What is the resistance of the complete wire? R. So let us see this. You can potential drop. Okay, you can, if you want to write down, you can use symbolically V. Right, this V and this V are different. This is across the wire. What is the current? This is the current, R plus R into R. Right, now potential drop per length, right, this is nothing but will give me the value of K. So K will be, this is the potential drop across the complete length of the wire. So potential dropped across the complete length of the wire upon length, let us say L is the length of the wire. If we have used exactly as per this, then the L is 400. I have used 400 centimeters of the wire, right? So I have got the value of K. Now directly in step 4, I will use this value of K, right, and I will get the required potential. So required potential V will be equal to K. I have got, that is E R plus R, R upon L, right? This is the value of K into the length L. So this will give me the potential drop across the resistor. One more application we have, right? That application we call, one more application we have, right? That is comparing EMF of the two cells. Same application of the potentiometer wire. Comparing EMF of cell using potentiometer. Here again same, this arrangement remains same, just from the terminal A the arrangement changes. So I will redraw it from terminal A, right? If I redraw the circuit diagram, it will be like this is the one of the cell E1, then this is another cell E2, this is terminal 1, this is terminal 2, and from the terminal 3 again I have a voltmeter and the jockey J, right? So again simple thing, here again step 1, we slide it first, 1 and 3 are connected. So first step, 1 and 3 are connected. As soon as you connect 1 and 3, E1 is in the circuit, right? We slide a jockey, to obtain 0 on voltmeter. As soon as you obtain 0 on the voltmeter, that means the potential dropped across length of the wire is equals to the E1. So we can write down, hence E1 is equals to K L1. Let us say the 0 obtained is for the length L1. Now in the step 3, right, again remove 1 and 3 connection and place 3 and 2 connections. So these connections you make up 3 and 2. Then step 4, slide jockey to obtain 0 on voltmeter, right? You again slide to obtain. So when 0 is obtained, again we can write down E2 is equals to KL2, right? Again the EMF drop will be equal to the length of the wire, and finally we have this conclusion that E1 by E2 is equals to L1 by L2. This is how you can compare the EMF of the two cell, or EMF of the one of the cell is known, then you can calculate EMF of the another cell. These are the practicals which you will be doing in the class 10. That is, I have written in the terms of steps, right? If you repeat these steps, for sure your practicals will give you the answer. One more last application we have, that is determining internal resistance of the cell. So this is the diagram, right? Let us say battery of the EMF epsilon, it is connected, external resistance R1 is connected, then the switch we have K1 which is connected to a jockey. Now here also we have certain steps, right? For all these practicals there is one common step, that is you have to determine the K. I have shown you in the very first topic how to find out the value of K. Here also I have shown how to find out the value of K, right? And then that K has to be used. Here in this one I have not shown you how to find K. Here also I am not showing you how to find K, but that is the common step. So now here in the step 1, right, K is closed. Obviously K remains closed, so some steady current is set up in the circuit, right? K1 remains open, and in that condition we again slide a jockey to obtain a 0. Slide jockey to obtain 0. So 0 we obtain, let us say at a some length L. So at that state the EMF of the cell, right, EMF of the cell epsilon is equals to K times, let us say L1 we got, so we can write down that L1, right? Now in the step 2, obviously K remains closed and K1 also be closed. As soon as we close the K1, right, current starts flowing in this circuit, hence the EMF changes to the potential V. So as soon as K is closed, K1 is closed, right, current flows in R1, and you know when the cell is in the use, the potential is called potential drop V, not EMF. It is not called EMF. So now again jockey to obtain 0. Right, again you slide jockey to obtain 0. So let us say you have slide jockey to some another length L1, and now hence you got V is equals to K L2. Correct? So now you can write down as, you can write down that E by V is equals to L1 by L2. Right? You have this formula to calculate the internal resistance. In the third step, to calculate R, right? Here we represent R as internal resistance. So to calculate internal resistance, we have this formula E minus V into the external resistance R, that is the resistance box R. So this one, if we simplify, E by V. So E by V, epsilon by V minus 1 into R. So this one will be E by V, it is nothing but L1 by L2 minus 1 into R. So here you have the value of the internal resistance. That's all for the electrical measurement. Next class will be starting a next chapter of the current electricity. Thank you.